Falls-Windsor Town Council meeting. We are going to have a little different format tonight, and I'll get into that shortly. But first, I'm going to call the meeting to order. And the first order of business is the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Hiscock, second by Councillor Knoll. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Yeah, as I said, there's going to be some changes coming up to our format, and basically the new legislation, the Town and Local Service District Act, will be coming into effect in January, and that brings some changes to councils all across the province, including ours. We have been undertaking some practice to get used to that process in light of that coming down in January, because there are some pretty big differences compared to what we're used to. So there will be some new leads for each department. The old committee structure is gone, so there'll be a new structure where leads will speak to the topics underneath the particular umbrella that they're leading. And we will have a committee of the whole meeting the first Tuesday of every month, and that meeting will be public. So we'll have that here in the chambers, committee of the whole public meeting first Tuesday of every month. The second Tuesday of every month, we'll have our public meeting. And in the third Tuesday of every month, we'll have our privileged committee of the whole meeting. So,
Second week of the month is the privilege meeting, the third meeting is the regular council meeting. Third week of the month.
yeah,
Yeah.
it says up here something different, but anyway,
Okay.
it's all good. So
Oh,
we
yes.
will clarify, I guess. So you're saying that it's the first week of every month that we have privileged meetings?
No. First, yeah,
The first week of every Tuesday of every month,
the first,
I said that we had public committee of the whole meeting.
that's correct.
Thank you.
First,
And then, after that, the second week is our public council meeting.
this is actually the third week.
That's what's the third
That's
week,
the,
okay.
that's what's the third week.
So the second week is the privileged committee of the whole
Yeah.
meeting. And then in the third week, we will have our council meeting on Tuesday, and followed by a privileged meeting of council as well.
Correct.
Okay, so that's the new format, I guess, and you know, nothing is set in stone here yet for us. We're certainly going to have to adjust, and there could be some kinks worked out as we go. So I might as well mention the departmental leads on a go forward. So the old committee structure is no more, and we'll move to this structure. So the departmental leads, I'm pleased to put forward, and won't officially be in place until council has an opportunity to vote on that. But what is being proposed is that under Community Services, Economic Development lead will be Deputy Mayor Mike Brown. Under Community Services, Recreation and Events lead will be Councillor Little. Under Public Works and Development, including Public Works, Buildings and Facilities lead will be Councillor Dwyer. And Public Works and Development Planning lead will be Councillor Hiscock. And then we'll have the Corporate Services, Finance and Administration Policy lead, which will be Councillor Cody. And finally, Protective Services, which includes Municipal Enforcement and our Fire Department, and the lead for that will be Councillor Knoll. So everybody will have their areas to speak to, which we will call when the time comes. And there'll be a different process, I guess, in how we take business to public meetings, privileged meetings, and as I said, we're going to get used to it ourselves, but if anybody got any questions or want to discuss this further, certainly we can be available at any time, so no problem to do that. All right. With that said, we'll move into the proclamations. We do have one tonight, not sure, oh, Terry Lynn is here, okay. Terry Lynn Barry is here as a representative from the YMCA, and it's YMCA Peace Week. So Terry Lynn, I'm going to read the proclamation now shortly, but if you don't mind, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what Peace Week is, because this is something that's new to us.
It is
How
fairly
new-
new.
Yeah, okay.
So Peace Week is actually celebrated globally within the YMCA Association. Hasn't been in the Exploits Valley region or Grand Falls-Windsor for 10 plus years. So we're really proud to bring it back this year. It's new to me this year. I didn't know about it. Been with the YMCA for 6 years, but learned about it. So we're bringing it back to Grand Falls-Windsor and the Exploits region. It is, we open nominations. So the community actually votes on someone who exudes peace, empathy, and advocacy within our community and the surrounding communities as well. So the nominations have been opened, they've been closed, and we're going to do our ceremony tomorrow.
Oh, great, okay, so I guess the nominations for the following year will be announced sometime when, is it just an all-year nomination, or is it closer to?
I think like
date?
March or April they come out again.
Okay, you're probably
Around
like
there.
us now, you're just trying to find your way, right? Where you didn't
Absolutely.
know about it. You didn't know about it for the last number of years you were working there.
Yeah,
And
what's been
just-
celebrated for years, I'm doing in 2 weeks. So
Yes,
bear with me.
perfect. Well, you do a lot of good work, and I know you do a lot of it under a lot of stress and a heavy burden, so we know you do a good job here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do want you to stick around, and of course, what you had to say is going to be reflected in the proclamation, so I'll just take my seat, Terry Lynn, if you wanted to move in a little. I'll read the proclamation, and I'm sure Robin is going to want to get a photo. So it is YMCA Peace Week, November 16th to the 23rd. Whereas YMCA Peace Week is a time when we celebrate the presence of peace in our communities and reflect on the peace-building work that happens all year, both inside and outside the YMCA. Many YMCAs honor individuals and groups in their community with the YMCA Peace Medal. Peace, what does it mean? And how can we collectively proclaim peace? We claim peace through participation, empathy, advocacy, community engagement, and empowerment. Peace. Whereas as we, the YMCA, celebrate Peace Week, we think of who in our community represents peace with dignity and passion, who represents peace in alignment with our mission statement, which reads as follows. The YMCA of Exploits Valley is a charity that enables personal growth in spirit, mind, and body through participation, partnerships, and services to the community. Whereas we encourage residents and members to do the same, think of peace within our community and the people and groups that stand out. Send them a thank you and words of encouragement. We live in a diverse world where peace can become lost in our mind and soul from time to time. We ask that our community celebrate with this week and beyond. Therefore, I, Barry Emanuel, Mayor of the Town of Grand Falls, Windsor, do hereby proclaim the week of November 16th to the 23rd, 2024, as YMCA Peace Week in Grand Falls, Windsor. I'll give you a copy, Terry Lynn, too. You take the one I didn't mark on.
Thank you.
Oh, I better sign it first, say? I'll be all right. There you go.
you.
Thanks again, Terry Lynn, for coming. We certainly appreciate it, and don't go anywhere, because Robin will be mad. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks again, Terry Lynn. Take care. Okay. Back to the agenda. The next item on the agenda is to adopt the minutes from meeting number 599. And before I ask for a mover and a seconder, it's also should be noted that after this, there'll be no more numbered meetings. The meetings will be known only by the date that they're held on, as per the new legislation. So, if I could, I'd ask for a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the minutes from last meeting. Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Councillor Little. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Okay, any business arising out of the minutes? No business arising. We will move into first, community services. We do have some correspondence that we received, and it falls under economic development, so I'll ask Deputy Mayor if he would speak to that.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. The council received a letter from the Minister of Rural Economic Development and the Minister responsible for the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency, the Honourable Grudy Hutchings. And it is with respect to our applications for funding for the new community centre. And Minister Hutchings has encouraged us to meet with the COA representatives with respect to our application, and certainly encourages us to do so. And certainly, by the tone of the letter, she's on side. Public spaces, she said, such as community centres, are a key part of thriving, welcoming communities. They provide places for social interaction and physical activity, and are an important aspect of what makes a community an attractive place to live and work. So all of that with respect to our funding, we will hopefully meet with representatives of ACOA in the coming weeks with respect to our application for a new community centre. And certainly the town is in dire need of a community centre, a new community centre. I think just over the last 2 winters we spent an extra $125,000 in the Joe Byrne Stadium just to keep that open. The cost of keeping our swimming pool going increases every year. I think we spent $60,000 just in the last year. $20,000 of that was on a chairlift, and the rest on mechanical repairs to the pool. So the costs keep escalating with respect to just trying to keep these facilities open. And it's time for the town of Grand Falls to have a new community centre. And we look forward to meeting with Minister Hutchings and representatives of COA in the near future to discuss the same. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, on that topic, I'll ask if anybody else has a comment, but just want to let you know that we did meet with Minister Fred Hutton from the provincial government last weekend. It was the AGM for Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador, so myself and the CAO, and also the Director of Community Services, Mr. Mercer, attended, and the Director of Engineering and Public Works, which is Mr. Chapman. And they gave us time to be able to outline some draft plans for a proposed community centre, and what that would entail, what it would look like, what kinds of costs would be associated, and also that we are going to need the provincial government to step up and be involved in this. You know, Deputy Mayor talked about some of the repairs, but we could go well and beyond that over the last number of years when you talk about, you know, spending money on older infrastructure. We don't have a walking track in town, an indoor one, you know. We obviously have old facilities. The swimming pool that Deputy Mayor spoke of was built in 1975, I believe, and I know that the stadium was 1948, Joe Byrne. The Windsor Stadium, I'm not sure exactly when, but it was sometime in the 70s, I believe, as well, maybe the same time as the pool. And also, you know, we also have need for additional gym space. So we've been talking to community stakeholders, and obviously there's still a lot of work to do in this, and there's some preliminary work to do with assessing potential sites or options for that, and other funding sources, you know, and what the end result would be, whether it would be a phased project, you know, all those things would be discussed. So we did have a good meeting with Minister Hutton. He was very cordial with his time, and that is right in line with what Minister Hutchings had to say on behalf of the federal government. Any other comments on that? Okay. We will move on now to Community Services, Recreation and Events, which there is nothing for you this evening, Councillor Little. And that brings us to Public Works and Development. First, Public Works, Buildings and Facilities, and I'll call on Councillor Dwyer for that. There are 3 resolutions that we need to deal with.
Thank you, Mayor. Be it resolved to apply for cost-shared funding through Municipal Capital Works, call for applications with Municipal Infrastructure Division of the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure in the amount of $200,000 for the purpose of upgrading the road for the regional water treatment plant. The town of Grand Falls-Windsor agrees to provide its share of the cost funding, $100,500 net of the HST rebate for this project should it be selected for funding, and acknowledges that project costs above the approved project total cost will be the sole responsibility of the town of Grand Falls-Windsor.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Deputy Mayor Brown. Any discussion on the first resolution? Councillor Little and then Councillor Dwyer, sorry. We just beat you to the punch.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to clarify, the share of the $100,000, I think our share is around 66%. So it's a $200,000 project, applying for funding of $100,000. Our cost is actually around $66,000. Thank you.
Thanks for clarifying that. Councillor Dwyer.
Just with respect to the 66.6, it's shared between 5 communities, so Bishop's Falls, Botwood, Northern Arm, and Peterview. And the road that we are looking for funding for is, well, the Exploits Regional Service Water Services Commission is responsible for 9 kilometers of road on the Wooddale, just past the Wooddale turnoff. And so that is the portion of road that's not paved. And we need to maintain it because we have a lot of chemicals that are being transported on that road. And so this would be for 1 kilometer. And obviously the $200,000 a year, it'll take about 26 years for us to get that up to where we need it to be, but it's a start. Yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah, so just so everyone knows, it isn't the paved portion of the road to Wooddale, it's the 1 kilometer of the 9 kilometers past Wooddale turnoff. And you know, it's our vehicles that are on those roads as well, but we need to maintain that road, obviously, because we have vehicles on that road daily, and in order for us to continue with the chemical supplies being transported there, you know, we got to make sure that they will continue it. Yeah, thank you.
No, thanks for that, Councillor Dwyer. Any other comments on that resolution? Hearing none, we got a mover and a seconder. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Resolution passed. Okay, next up, Councillor Dwyer, is Crown Land Acquisition Resolution.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that council approve the acquisition of Crown Land, application number 161971, for cottage development, authorizing staff to proceed with the preferred lease or purchase option under market value pricing policies.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Councillor Cody. Any discussion on the second resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Resolution passed. And the third and final one under this banner, if I can call it that, is resolution for the CHIF application request.
Thanks, Mayor. Be it resolved to apply for cost-shared funding through the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund, call for applications in the amount of $4,337,308, net of the HST rebate, for the purpose of construction of a new water storage tank and rehabilitation of the existing 3.6 what is that?
I'm not
Megaliter?
looking at it right now.
Megaliter storage standpoint? Located at Andrews Crescent. Funding will be shared equally at a 50-50 ratio. The town of Grand Falls-Windsor agrees to provide its share of the cost-sharing funding, $2,168,654, net of the HST rebate, for this project, should it be selected for funding, and acknowledges that project costs above the approved project total cost will be the sole responsibility of the town of Grand Falls-Windsor.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Councillor Little. Any discussion on the third resolution? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Resolution passed. Okay, next up, we have Public Works and Development, the Planning and Development. That's Councillor Hiscock as the lead, if you would, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a fairly lengthy report, so thank God Mr. Chapman gave me the Reader's Digest version, which I'm going to bring forward to everybody's delight. The discussion is Public Works have been actively working in infrastructure maintenance and repairs throughout 2024. Some of the key highlights were street repairs at 3,229.25 square meters of asphalt. Painting was just under 4,700 liters. Signage installed, replaced 49 street signs, 102 regulatory signs, and 62 posts. Concrete repairs completed 600.86 square meters of concrete curb and gutter sidewalk. And water and sewer maintenance, various 31 leaks repaired, 5 mains breaks, and hydrant repairs, and 66 plug sewers, and completed 118 curb stop repairs. And this is all ongoing, Mr. Mayor, throughout the year. And thanks to our fine group of individuals and workers to keep the town running as smoothly as it is. Thank you.
No, thanks for that. Any comment on the report from Public Works? Hearing none, we'll move on to the first resolution of 2. And Councillor Hiscock, this is referring to the Housing Accelerator Fund, and you're up again, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, just a little background on this. The Housing Accelerator Fund, and it's for engineering work on Tulit Drive and Ogilvie Street, Main Street West, and Northcliffe Street. And the proposal is, I move that council award the engineering design work to Irvine Engineering Limited, the lowest bidder out of 5 total bidders, to complete the detailed design work for these 3 previously approved housing development areas. This lowest bid was for $43,855.23. And I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, the resolution is moved by Councillor Hiscock, seconded by Councillor Knoll. Any comment, discussion on the first resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Resolution passed. Okay, this one has to do with Urban and Rural Planning Act Amendment. Councillor Hiscock, when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So recommendation for adoption of Amendment Number 5, 2023 Northcliffe Street rezoning. I move that under the authority of Section 16 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, the town of Grand Falls-Windsor adopts Amendment Number 5, 2023 to the Grand Falls-Windsor Development Regulations 2022-2032. And I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Hiscock, seconded by Deputy Mayor Brown. Any comments or discussion on the second resolution under Councillor Hiscock's department, which he leads? I should say area, not department, I guess. Semantics. No comments? Okay, we're going to move her in a seconder. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary-minded? Resolution passed. Okay, up next, we have Corporate Services, Finance and Administration and Policy. And for that, we'll call on the lead, Councillor Dwyer. Or sorry, Councillor Cody.
She can have it back.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. Every month, Council is updated on the status of year-to-date labor costs as compared with the budget. Key considerations and implications. The budget financial implications is a week 42. Total labor costs were 8.19 under budget, which amounts to savings of $281,371. Week 44 is the final week prior to layoff for the Public Works employees, and then all seasonal staff will get their layoff. This is 3 weeks later than past years due to savings in budget and excess work available. The seasonal employees will now be called in on an as-needed basis throughout the winter months until recall in May. Engagement and communications considerations. Staff were communicated with throughout this process as they require 3 weeks advance notice of their layoff as per the collective agreement. So in conclusion, management will continue to monitor labor costs as we head into the winter months, and I move my report.
Doesn't require a mover
No.
in seconder in this case, I don't believe. So you can just continue with your reports. I think that's the way this is, because there's no resolution,
Perfect.
there won't be any motion or any vote.
There can be other discussion.
There can be other discussion, yes, there can, thank you. Anybody have any comments on the first report from Councillor Cody? No? Okay, Councillor Cody, number 2, when you're ready, please.
Okay, taxation receivables analysis, October of 2024. Information note is to provide council with an update on taxation receivables. Total outstanding balance at October 31st, 2024, $3,331,730, compared to 2023 was $3,204,734, an increase of $126,998 or 4%. Collections have been slowly improving throughout the year as more residents set up on pre-authorized payment plans. Monthly pre-authorized payments are approximately $446,000 now versus $384,000 this time last year. Collection efforts remain ongoing to collect as much taxation as possible. So, of course, our finance department will continue to monitor and update council moving forward on the collections process.
Any other discussion on the taxation analysis? No? Okay, when you're ready, Councillor Cody.
All right, thank you. The disbursement report. I did write a note on this one last night, actually. So I acknowledge receipt of the disbursement report in the amount of $738,148.79 as reviewed by council up to November the 5th of 2024.
Okay. Any comments on the third report? Hearing none, we'll move on to your fourth and last one.
Okay.
Councillor Cody, please.
Thank you. Streetlight inventory and costs. So the town of Grand Falls-Windsor currently leases 1,654 streetlights across 838 poles with a total monthly cost of $39,555.65 and an annual expense of $474,667.80, including HST. This includes a mix of high-pressure sodium HPS and LED lights. So I just wanted to note a couple of things. Cost savings with the LED lights. So the town has already transitioned many lights to LED. And when I say the town, I don't mean the town has done that transition. Newfoundland Power has done that transition. As you report a street light out or they notice a street light out, they're replacing them now, the older lights, with the new LED lights. So with 998 units of 100W LED lights at $16.25 per unit before tax, these LED lights are more cost effective than the older HPS lights. So council routinely receives requests for new street lights in various areas, and while these requests often stem from valid concerns about safety, visibility, or aesthetics, each new installation does increase the town's monthly and annual expenses. And I don't say that to discourage residents from requesting additional lighting or requesting improvements to the lighting, just as an awareness piece that the lights do cost the town. A lot of people don't realize that it is a cost to the town to have street lighting. So, we are always open and welcome to all feedback from our residents about additional street lighting, especially when it comes to accessibility and visibility and safety. I did also want to just state that oftentimes when street lights are out, we don't get a discount based on the number of days the light has been out, which is why it's very important that if you notice a street light out, that you report it right away. You can reach out to the town and let us know where it is, but preferably we would ask that you, the resident, do notify Newfoundland Power about the outage. And that information is available on our town Facebook page. We update it regularly, and our communications officer, Robin, I know after this meeting she'll have that post right up top again. So please feel free to look out for it. If you cannot find it, reach out to council or anyone at the town. We'll get that information to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess on the poles, there's a number, right? A little metal plate. So that if you are reporting an outage, you can just use that to identify the pole you're talking about. And, you know, driving around town lately, particularly today, it's really dark. So we don't want to see any streetlights out and make it less safe for anyone. So thanks for that. Any other comments on the street lighting? Hearing none. Protective Services, we don't have anything tonight. Councillor Noel's off the hook. Council Advisory Committees, we don't have any reports from our advisory committees. We were busy practicing the last couple of weeks. And external committees as well. So, we'll move into other business. And Councillor Little, you're up first.
Thank you, Mayor. We had our extra back down this past weekend to, well, one close game, one not so close game, but two really big crowds, which was great to see. Hopefully, going forward, they keep those big crowds coming and the team improves and they get where they need to go this year. The only thing I have is the Queen Street Dinner Theatre. John Thompson, our producer and everything else with the Queen Street Dinner Theatre, received a letter that acknowledges their recognition for their contribution in the arts sector in the province, and they actually will be receiving the Premier's Medal for what they do, which is a very big deal. John and his whole crew works very hard, and it's, you know, he hasn't always gotten recognition from the province that I feel that he's deserved, or the company has deserved, but he finally has, and he will be receiving that medal very soon, and he's very happy and very proud of the whole group for putting the hard work in that's resulted in this. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, John, through his work and anybody else involved with that dinner theater over the years, has done a lot to bring exposure to Grand Falls-Windsor, and it gives people an opportunity to get out, not only residents, but visitors to the area as well. Okay. Next up, Councillor Dwyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing under council advisory committees, but the Accessibility Committee actually met this past week. We had a great meeting, and we talked about many of the things that we have accomplished this past year, and talked about some ideas for next year as well. I always feel really good when we leave that meeting, and appreciate the committee's engagement and their inspiration. The business case competition was held in Grand Falls-Windsor this past weekend at the College of North Atlantic. We had 8 teams here from across the province, and it was a wonderful event, and College of North Atlantic Grand Falls-Windsor came first and will be representing the college in Montreal in February. Yeah. Forest Park Primary have had as part of their curriculum a piece on community helpers, and they've been inviting our fire people, and I had an invitation to go out and speak to them and tell them a story about community helpers, so kind of incorporated Halloween and community helpers and our own Sammy to Salmon into a little story. So thanks to the Mayor for accompanying me, and Councillor Hiscock was there. And it was a really fun time, and it's the good part of being a councillor for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dwyer. And I assume that was put on our website or on our Facebook page, right? Anybody want to look at it? I know it's a longer video, as you'd expect, but Councillor Dwyer wrote the story and put it all together and used illustrations from wherever you get illustrations from on the internet or software, wherever. And the kids were as excited as I've ever seen a crowd of kids. The teachers just could not get them to calm down at all, because Councillor Dwyer had incorporated most of the kids into the story. And as soon as they heard the first name of someone in their class, that was it. They had to say. And, you know, the story in itself was good. And there was a giveaway after. We gave away the armbands, right? Or the glow sticks, rather. And last year, I believe it was last year, we went to Woodland Primary. This time it was Forest Park. And Councillor Dwyer had this put together as well. And it was done over the sound system with all the school in the gym. And again, it was very well received. It was about, you know, the kids were growing corn in their classroom, all about sustainable food and that kind of stuff. And the corn got out of hand and they had nowhere, so they asked the mayor if there's any land available to be able to grow their corn. And the mayor said, yes, you can use Red Cliff Rocks. So they started planting corn up there, and of course that really took off too. And there was a fire. And of course, when there was a fire there, bonfire night, there was popcorn. So it was a good story. And after the story was over, a couple of the firefighters came by in the fire truck and came out and helped give out the popcorn for every student in the school. So hats off to you, Councillor Dwyer, for all that. Okay, Deputy Mayor Brown, when you're ready.
Thank you, Mayor. A few things here this evening. We got some great Christmas events starting. In the next couple of weeks, the Keep Christ in Christmas March is December 1st at 2:30 p.m. from the Anglican Church on Church Road here in Grand Falls, Windsor. The Keep Christ in Christmas March is an annual event. It's been going on for a long, long time. We encourage people to come out and march for a kilometre, and we'll go back to the Anglican Church Hall then, and we'll have a little sing-along. And there's no sing-along, and not just any sing-along. The Salvation Army Band is going to be there, so it'll be a great sing-along with those members of the band in attendance. And the Search and Rescue will lead the parade, and we encourage everybody to come out on December 1st at 2:30 at the Anglican Church to participate in that. And we'll have some snacks after, and some refreshments, and a little sing-along. So it'll be a great afternoon for those who would like to attend. On December 6th, our Church Park Road light up takes place, and very well attended event. Our staff are up there now preparing the park for the Christmas light up, and very well attended and a great event. So we encourage all the public to come out to there. We'll be serving soup and hot chocolate and popcorn and water. So a great family event, and we encourage everybody to show up December 6th at 6:30, I think, Director Mercer? 6:30? Just that? 6 o'clock, actually, it is. I got it marked there. So thanks very much for that. And then the following day, December 7th, our Santa Claus Parade, annual Santa Claus Parade, and people who have come out and saw the parade the last few years have seen the parade grow by leaps and bounds to what it was. We get great participation from the business community and from all the organizations in town, not-for-profit organizations. They all come out and participate in the parade. So that'll be another great event for the people of Grand Falls, Windsor to take part in. And just on a follow-up to that, Mayor, there's all kinds of free skating. There's free shinny hockey, free adult skating, free family skating, and free preschool skating. So I ask everybody to check our Facebook page. All the dates and times are there, and there's no excuse for getting out of the house and going for a little skate. It doesn't cost you a cent. And the skating is for all people in town, all adults and children alike. And before I sit down, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to congratulate the Salvation Army. They received their food bank received Canadian accreditation. Just this past week in St. John's, they received an award from the Community Sharing Network, Food Sharing Network. And I'd like to congratulate Daniel Kelly on that. He heads up the Community and Family Services Division of the Salvation Army. And the Salvation Army is the first Salvation Army our Salvation Army here in Grand Falls, Windsor is the first one in Canada to receive that accreditation. And the Salvation Army Food Bank here in Grand Falls, Windsor is the first food bank in Newfoundland to receive that accreditation. So certainly congratulations to Daniel Kelly and the Salvation Army. And finally, the Heritage Society, along with the medal that the arts group are receiving at the Legion, they also will be receiving the Premier's Medal for Heritage and the good work they do for the community of Grand Falls, Windsor. They got notice from the Premier just last week that they will be receiving the Premier's Medal for that. And speaking to members of the Heritage Society, to give a lot of credit to their two employees, Robin Warren and Kristen Milley, for receiving this award. And actually, those two individuals will travel to St. John's and receive the award on behalf of the Heritage Society. So congratulations to the people in the Heritage Society. And as we all know, the Heritage Society came a long way since 2016, 2017, moved into their building. They receive numerous tourists throughout the year, and certainly a great organization and a great asset to the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. So thank you, Mayor.
Yep, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Cody.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to talk about a couple of Christmas concerts that are happening. I know the school concerts are going to be happening a lot as well, but it's very difficult to get tickets for them. You got to kind of have one of the children in the concert to get into those. But there's two community concerts that are happening that the public is welcome to attend. Cantus Silva, the Grand Falls-Windsor Women's Choir. They're having their Christmas concert at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception on Wednesday, November 27th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are $10 each. You can get them from the choir director, Mike Snellgrove, or from any member of the choir, and they'll also be available at the door as well. And off the cuff Christmas concert, that choir, they're having their concert on Sunday, December 10th at 2:30 p.m. at the Memorial United Church. And tickets are $20 for that concert, and they're available from choir members, or you can email otccommunitychoir@gmail.com. And just one other note from me. I had a special message come through this evening with congratulations to one of our counselors, Counselor Little. I had a message from Principal Kenneth Hemian, this afternoon, and he wanted me to pass on congratulations to you for accepting your new position of assistant principal at Botwood Collegiate. And he said they're so thankful and so lucky to have such a dedicated educator and such a compassionate person to be in that role. And I agree with him 100%. We're lucky to have you around this council table for the exact same reasons. So congratulations to you on your new position. Thanks, Mayor.
Congratulations, Councillor Little. Good. I didn't realize that. It's great. Councillor Knoll, speaking of teachers' positions that are vacant.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, vacant it is. Yeah, lots of fun. I just got a couple items this evening, but they're kind of a reiteration of items already presented by myself a little earlier on. One is the idea about shopping local. You hear it on the radio all the time. Countdown to Christmas, X number of days, and I want to remind people that that it's the local shops that are going to sponsor your scout troop and your volleyball teams, whatever the case is. The big online corporations, they're not going to send you a check in the mail to help anybody in the community to further their advances. So I encourage people to shop local wherever possible. On that same note, you see it in the news all the time, the in-need increase has, it's gone up dramatically. So as you may be preparing for the Christmas holidays, etc., if you can give it a little more, it's well received by so many other groups today who take those dollars and even Goodwill clothing, etc., good use clothing, and put it to great use. So I encourage people to take a few minutes in the next week and give some thought as to where you can help personally to make lives a little better for somebody else in their community. Please take the time. And you always hear me ranting about garbage, and today was no other day. Just as a for instance, I was at the shop and I had to run in town for a minute. So I pulled out the parking lot, I drove down the road and said, no, I can't leave it. And so I backed up, and there's an RCMP member coming, so he looked at me, slowed down a bit, so I put on my indicator, pulled over to the side of the road. It was a great big bag of takeaway food that somebody had lobbed on the side of Two-Let Drive. So anyway, the RCMP member slowed down a bit and watched me get it, pick it up, throw it back in the car, and went on about my business. And I had gone in town no time. When I say in town, I mean Two-Let Drive is still part of town. But on the way back, I came from the other side, and I said, no way, can't be. And right on the yellow line was another full bag of takeout food from a different retail or food establishment. So it floors me, and you hear me rant about it all the time. So what goes through a person's mind driving down Tulip Drive? Because I see it all the time on Tulip Drive, to put the windows and lob it out the window. What goes through that person's mind? I don't know. If you're from Grand Falls-Windsor, from other places, you're still a Newfoundlander. I mean, and again, you don't have another planet to call home. But take it with you, boys. I mean, one of these days you're going to see me on the 11 o'clock news because I've met one of these people on the yellow line, right? And I'm fearful of that day, but I'm just kind of passionate about this. I mean, I can go up and down Tulip Drive 20 times a day, and I see 20 new pieces of garbage. I mean, I'm going to push all the time for some cameras, boys. We just got to catch a few of these people. Just leave it at that. And with that, on that same thread, I guess, it's nice to see a full complement of MEOs out, right? I see them up and down on numerous streets and around town, and I encourage them, not just the speeders, but try to catch a couple of these people who lob this stuff out the window. Thank you, Mayor.
No, absolutely. It's one thing that would make them think something. Councillor Hiscock.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. We were talking about the Salvation Army earlier, and Salvation Army kettle campaign is on to go now. And all monies, of course, raised or donated in Grand Falls-Windsor stays in this area. So we encourage people to donate to a very worthy cause, Mr. Mayor. Also, the people walking, of course, Councillor Noel speaks about it often, and yourself, Mr. Mayor, spoke earlier about how dark it is. And last week, I just narrowly missed 2 people walking down Tulip Drive, pouring rain, middle of the night, out on the road, dark clothes. And there was just something that I caught moving that prevented me from hitting these people. And please, wear bright clothes. Wear bright clothes, for God's sake. We have all kinds of these armbands, Mr. Mayor. We're glad to give them out to the public. Put them on your arms, put them on your pants, whatever the case may be, so that people can see you. I was talking to a letter carrier just a little while ago, and he was crossing Hardy Avenue from the intersection of Tulip over towards Home Hardware, and someone in a car came down through the red light and hit his bag and spun him around. Narrowly missing, and the person just kept on going, just oblivious to what's going on. So please, I know that people are shopping now, one thing or another, they got things on their mind, but please take that time. Be cautious, especially around intersections. Be cautious and aware of everything, all your surroundings. And just ending now, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to congratulate our very own Councillor Cody, who's been Federation of Canadian Municipalities, 3rd Vice President. And I know firsthand all the hard work she does with municipalities, Newfoundland and Labrador as president. But congratulations, Councillor Cody. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, the Atlantic Canada representative. Right? Yes. So congratulations. That's one of the 2 things I had, and I thought it was going to get around to me. So anyhow, I'll be fast, and this was kind of referred to as well, but I had the opportunity to go to the Happy Tree kickoff, and the kettle campaign was talked about there as well. Huge crowd. They've started having the children's choir from one of the schools sing some carols. So obviously that brings the family members out and that, but it was great to see that, and Salvation Army Band. And I'll just reiterate a couple things. One is that Daniel Kelly does an amazing job and certainly deserves all the credit he does for, giving back to the community. And also, if you can, please give. Councillor Noel talked about it, and it's a lot of people are finding it very, 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 very difficult. And if you can find it in yourself and you can afford to do so, please give. And the food bank is always a good place, and so is the Salvation Army. Those are the 2 that I always suggest to people. And we do have our Christmas things coming up, our give back days and our random acts of kindness and all that. And to Councillor Dwyer's point, who likes the kid events, I really like those events because it's an opportunity to get out and give to unsuspecting citizens and be able to do a good deed for some people who may need it, and it does a lot for them. And I remember, just before I finish, 2 things. Todd probably remembers one of this, Mr. Mercer. About 5 or 6 years ago, we gave away a TV at Riffs, and the lady was working at Riffs at our dollar store. Dalton, I still call her Riffs, at the time, and she was so excited. And the other was when we gave away the presents. We had a family. It's difficult now to identify people maybe that are in need, but we did become aware of a young single mother who had 3 small children who really had no presents for the kids for Christmas. And we got together and put together a couple of bagfuls of presents and dropped it off at their door, and boy, was she ever thankful. You could just see it, you know. So it's true that giving definitely does the heart good. With that, we will move on to the last item, which is adjournment. I'll call for a motion. Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Councillor Little. All those in favor? Aye. We'll see you next time.